What's going on, guys? So in the last video, we set up a DigitalOcean droplet, which is essentially a remote server, and we connected to it through SSH, Secure Shell. And now that we have the server set up and we're able to connect to it, there's some initial tasks that we should do. So essentially the root user has a lot of capability and it can be dangerous. It's discouraged from using on a regular basis. And so it's good to create another user and give them access to do administrative tasks. So we'll create a new user. We'll grant them administrative privileges and set up a basic firewall. And then we'll be able to SSH into our server from this new user and be able to run the sudo command with administrative privileges. So we'll log back into our server here. I'll enter in my passphrase. So I'm logged in there. Create a new user. Give it a password. Make sure I typed it right. You can just hit enter through some of these. Yes. And to avoid having to log out of our normal user and log back in as the root account, we can set up what is known as a super user or root privileges for our normal account. This will allow our normal user to run commands with administrative privileges by putting the word sudo, which is super user do, before the command. To add these privileges to our new user, we need to add the user to the sudo group. By default on Ubuntu 20.04, which is what we have, and I set up in the last video, users who are members of the sudo group are allowed to use the sudo command. So as the root user, run this command to add your new user to the sudo group. I'll copy that, paste it in here, and change that to Andrew. So that's good there. Ubuntu servers can use the UFW firewall to make sure only connections to certain services are allowed. And you can use UFW or DigitalOcean cloud firewalls. They say you shouldn't use both because they could clash. So applications can register their profiles with UFW upon installation. These profiles allow UFW to manage these applications by name. OpenSSH, the service allowed us to connect to our server now, has a profile registered with UFW. And you can see this by typing this command. Yep. So we need to make sure that the firewall allows SSH connections so that we can log back in next time. And we can allow those by typing in this command. Cool. And then enable the firewall. Good to go there. Check the status. We see that they are allowed. And as the firewall is currently blocking all connections except for SSH, if you install and configure additional services, you will need to adjust the firewall settings to allow traffic in. And you can learn some common UFW operations in our UFW Essentials guide, which I may make another video on, at least allowing HTTP and HTTPS ports to be open. Let's see, what does this stand for again? Uncomplicated firewall. Yeah. So now that we have a regular user for daily use, we need to make sure that we can SSH into the account directly. So they recommend keeping your root SSH connection open while you make sure that the new user's connection works. In case it doesn't work, you can troubleshoot it with the root user's connection. So you have to open a second terminal and then SSH in with the new user on that one. And I do have to enter a password in for my root user, so this one's me. So in the new terminal, I'll run the new user. Open up a new terminal here. So I'll put in my root, change this to Andrew, and permission denied. So yeah, I'm not using the password authentication. I'm using SSH. So this is the one I need to follow. If you're logged into your root account using SSH keys, then password authentication is disabled for SSH. You still need to add a copy of your local public key to the new user's authorized keys file to log in successfully. Since your public key is already in the root account's authorized keys file on the server, we can copy that file and directory structure to our new user account in our existing session. The simplest way to copy the files with the correct ownership and permissions is with the rsync command. This will copy the root user's SSH directory, preserve the permissions, and modify the file owners all in a single command. Make sure to change the highlighted portions of the command below to match the regular user's name. Okay, this is change owner here. Okay, then open a new terminal and use SSH. Okay. So that first one's in here. And I'm changing from Sammy to Andrew. Looks like I missed one. Nailing it. Okay. Now if there we go. Turn the password, hit enter. Okay, so I had to enter the password of the root user, not the new user. And there we go. So now I'm in as Andrew, and I can run sudo and then the command. Alright, looks like that is it. I hope this helped you out, or at least made you a little more comfortable with doing it yourself. I'll probably make another video for the firewall, another one with using FileZilla. I'll also make a video where we add Node.js, connect to GitHub through SSH, and clone a repository, and then serve up a React application. So stay tuned for that. Feel free to like and subscribe, drop a comment and say what's up, And thank you very much for watching. I will catch you in the next one.
Check it.